with it means so many MCU projects coming out next year, I think I do a little series for you. I mean, watch every single MCU movie and show and give my thoughts on them. It's like every couple of years I always have to rewatch the MCU because it's a franchise that meant a lot to me. So I figured I'd do a little review series where I will watch all of them and then give you guys my thoughts on them. So I hope you'll enjoy on that, guys. That's how we start off with the original Iron Man, which is crazy. It's now been 16 years since this movie came out, which is insane. That look back, this was the film that started this whole universe. It was this film that started it all. And there's a reason why people still call it one of the best, because it is. It obviously is a lot more simpler than most other MC movies that we have gotten since then. But it establishes the formula incredibly well. It establishes the characters incredibly well. Especially Tony Stark is an incredible character that goes through a great arc throughout the movie. With Rob Downey Jr. absolutely killing it in the role. By that year, I really saw action set pieces, really great character moments, great back and forth between all the characters. And actually a pretty underrated villain, actually. So yeah, I still think Iron Man is still one of the best MCU movies. And I still can't remember the time about that post-credit scene and like, oh my god, we're getting an actual universe. We're getting the Avengers. But the original Iron Man still kicks ass. Continuing on with my MCU reviews, we have the Incredible Hulk, which I think for a long time is always, and probably still going to be the black sheep of the MCU. But it's one I've always really enjoyed. Like, Incredible Hulk is definitely like one of my favorite MCU movies. Like, I think it always handy at the bottom. There was a while where even the worst MCU is one I consider to be good or enjoyable, sound the best. Obviously, I don't need it anymore, but we'll get to those. But Incredible Hulk is a movie I've always definitely really enjoyed. I always had a great time whenever I do rewatch it, and I still do. Maybe I wish they kind of dive more deep into the psyche of Hulk a little bit. Well, maybe it's basic, it has some patient issues here and there, all that stuff, but it still has some really good moments. I think everyone does a great job. I think that the final fight scene is still one of the best action sequences in the entire MCU. And overall, it's a pretty good movie. Not one that reaches for the highs except for that fight, but it's still a pretty good movie. Iron Man 2 is said to be one of the most disappointing MCU movies, and I mean, it's for good reason. Like, it's one I've always enjoyed more than most people. You know, I do think it's one of the weaker entries of the MCU, but it's one I definitely do enjoy and have a lot of fun with, even though it's by the overstuffedness and the fact that the villain doesn't feel halfway through the movie and there's not much interaction between them, and a lot of story elements just not really connecting much, and it feels like it's just it to have most MCU projects. But overall, it's a film I still can have fun with. I think it's just watchable. But it's definitely easy by a landslide one of the weakest MCU movies, but it still has some action and some fun moments here and there. And it has that good charm as well. You know, I might give you a little bit of likable, too likable at points in the movie, but overall, I mean, too, still not a decent movie, but easily one of the weakest MCU entries. Don't I always consider to be one of the more underrated MCU entries? Like, it's definitely not one of the best franchise, but it's one I always enjoy a lot more than most people. Even finding the fact there's not a lot of action here, and there's a Dutch English, which makes things kind of not the most interesting to watch at times, but and maybe the relationship between Dora and Jane isn't the best in the world, but again, Chris Hemsworth really does a great job portraying this character. Tom Hiddleston does a fantastic job portraying Loki in his first appearance. The whole Asgard is interesting to explore, and you get that fun, like, fish out water humor, which makes things pretty hilarious. And reacting to this there is actually pretty fun, actually. Again, the charm, the humor is great. Again, Darcy can also be kind of annoying here, which has gotten, after the overall, just gotten much better, but overall, it's from actually to be a pretty good movie. Not one of the best MCU movies by a landslide, but still a pretty good one. Yeah, I don't think I need to say much about Dark World. It's probably it's easily the most just surface level, fine MCU movie out there. It's definitely easy bottom tier MCU movie in my opinion, and for good reason. Not that it's bad by any means, it does have its good moments here and there, and some good action here and there. But again, easily has the worst villain in the MCU, has the worst romantic storylines, and the most storytelling in the entire MCU. Darcy is super annoying here as well. Like, I could not stand her in this movie. And just, it just wasn't, it just has the worst humor in the entire MCU, so yeah, the reason why I decided to change it a little bit for Thor Ragnarok to make it a little more fun, because, yeah, it's fine, but easily bottom tier MCU. Thor Ragnarok is one of the most hilarious and fun MCU movies out there. Thor Love and Thunder is one of the most unfunny MCU movies out there. Yeah, Love and Thunder didn't hold up well in the rewatch at all. Like, I feel Love and Thunder's movie honestly gets worse the more I think about it. So it's definitely by a bottom tier MCU in my opinion. While it's not still not a bad movie, it is definitely just a waste of potential and just really went so far into the humor of Ragnarok. Like, Ragnarok really went all out as it is, so yeah. Ragnarok still one of the best, still Love and Thunder, one of the worst. Speaking of underrated MCU movies, Captain America First Avenger has always been a very underrated one. It was, for a while, was known to be a film that was just made just to set up the Avengers. And while it's always still on is, it still is a really movie in its own right. And the only issue I think goes probably a bit too fast in terms of pacing at times, and the villain's not the most memorable in the world. But in terms of introducing Captain America to my universe, while he was probably more of well, it wasn't taken serious at the time, they do a really good job of training him, making Cap a really compelling character, with Chris Evans delivering a great performance. And his relationship with Peggy Carter, played by Anne Edwards, is one of the most, probably the most compelling ship in the entire MCU, and probably the comic book movies in general. So, like that one ship where the relationship actually is built up and actually has meaning, and it also has one of the most surprising endings of the entire MCU. So yeah, overall, pretty great stuff, and great movie that I always enjoy coming back to. Captain America Winter Soldier is now going to be like the true game changer of the MCU, and for good reason, because Winter Soldier is still an incredible movie. Still managed to deliver some pretty emotional moments. Well, I mean, some moments don't really care much because of later MCU movies, Captain Marvel. But in terms of the action and the tone, it manages to be a different type of MCU movie, and it manages to deliver a lot of greatness in terms of being a more of an espionage movie than anything, along with incredible action set pieces and incredible character moments. The film that actually made people take Captain America very seriously. Falcon becoming a real competition to the franchise. Winter Soldier being a very compelling villain. And just some badass action set pieces, some of the most badass ones of the entire franchise, especially with the ending scene, with the final battle, which is just chef's kiss. Civil War is still one of the best MCU movies out there. Like, I remember being so obsessed with it when it came out, honestly, and it's still one of the best MCU movies. It definitely was a game changer at the time, and definitely one of the more popular comments. Yeah, people say it's basically what Batman and Superman Dawn of Justice should have been, and for good reason. Like when you think about it, the movies are actually very similar in terms of tone and at least in terms of structure, really thinking about it. But this one does more effectively. Was by Zemo's plans being like so like coincidental and all that stuff. He's still a pretty effective villain. He was actually my favorite villain before Thanos. Like before Thanos came around, he was actually my favorite villain. Actually, yeah, he was actually my favorite villain before Thanos, the MCU at least. Introducing Black Panther and Spider-Man here was very well done. I think the actual battle itself was great, the actual airport sequence was still great, but the actual final emotional battle is still pretty compelling. We'll still retain some of the great humor that the MCU was known for, at least at the time. The Avengers, it's still incredible. A movie that delivers greatness with the team ups, the incredible action, Loki being incredible villain, great humor, great score, and it's still one of the most entertaining and rewatchable movies in the MCU. Iron Man 3 for the longest time and probably still going to be the most divisive movie in the MCU, and honestly a good reason. The reason I made some decisions that was like questionable if you someone that with the comics and go over some different directions to expect. I mean, obviously because it's done by Chicken Black, and it's honestly over time I've actually grown to appreciate him so much more. Honestly, I thought that was a good solid when I first saw it, but the more I thought about Iron Man 3, the more like, yeah, I actually did enjoy it. Honestly, I think like obviously it's leaps and bounds better than Iron Man 2, and I actually have grown to appreciate the twist a bit more actually. But then you get some pure emotional moments with the MCU alone with that zany Shane Black humor that you would expect. as well. Also some pretty emotional moments and some pretty badass action. Like, it's kind of what you expect from a Shane Black movie, just in MCU style, which kind of makes the movie not feel as relevant as most MCU movies, like with the Incredible Hulk. But it's definitely a film that for a lot of people are going to appreciate more, and I'm one of those people. The Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is one of the best trilogies, superhero trilogies of all time, one of the best trilogies, period. The experience of the first one ended coming as great as it was. I'm pretty sure nobody expected the first Guardians to be as incredible as it ended up being. But it ended up being one of the best movies of the MCU, one of the most hilarious movies and rewatchable. James Gunn taking the characters down just not really well known and then becoming iconic in pop culture, and for good reason. And for damn good reason. The first one has hilarious and charming, while having some heartwarming moments. Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Groot becoming very iconic characters at this movie alone. Volume 2 definitely one maybe a bit too mean-spirited. It's a movie that honestly has grown on me so much, and while it's probably the weakest of the trilogy, it still has some incredible, badass, and wonderful moments. And Volume 3, not the most mature MCU movie content, but most emotionally devastating. And definitely in a top 3 MCU movie, in my opinion, period, just wow. Avengers, Age of Ultron. This film I've always said to be one of the more underappreciated movies in the MCU. Well, yeah, it's probably the weakest Avenger movie at the moment. It definitely doesn't hit the true highs of the other Avenger movies. But you still get some badass moments here, like the whole Hulkbuster sequence, still one of my favorite action set pieces of the MCU. And well, yeah, Ultron not as intimidating a villain as you would expect him to be, especially how kind of rushed he ends up appearing, how rushed his appearance ends up being, how threats, and again, it's definitely not paced the best on the show, but I don't like the development of the characters. I'm maybe not huge on the whole Black Widow Hulk romance, but I do like a lot of the background people on the relationships, the badass moments. Again, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver had some nice introductions here. Here, the action is fantastic, the humor is so great, you get some pretty wow moments in this movie. 201 doesn't reach the highs of the other Avengers movies, it's still a great movie. The Ant-Man movies are mainly considered to be the Ant-Man movies are considered to be the definition of palate cleansers. Like, that's pretty much the definition of these movies. Like, obviously, the first Ant-Man came out with the last movie, Phase 2, was after Age of Ultron, and a few other movies like Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy. And the first one I think is still pretty fun, actually. Maybe not the best film in the world, but it delivers being like a fun Edgar Wright heist movie. You know, obviously, Edgar Wright didn't know most directing it, unfortunately, but he still did that Edgar Wright feel and everything, so. But yeah, it's still a very charming adventure where Paul Rudd being his charismatic self than ever and having some really great moments and some great back and forth between all the characters. Ant-Man and the Wasp, while Ant-Man and the Wasp is not the best film the MCU, it's still one I can always enjoy coming back to and still have a great time. This is obviously after Infinity War, and you get a lot of charm and a lot of joy here as well. Quantumania, however, yeah, this is a film that I don't think continues to get worse the more I think about it. So it is definitely a bomb to the MCU, but I don't think it's bad by any means. I don't think it's like a disaster like something like that. To be honest, it's like one of the worst films ever made, or one of the worst movies ever made. I don't think it's that bad, honestly. I think there's some charm to it. But it definition is from the kind that's been most corporate, honestly, and feels the most safe. And how they treat Kang here, like, well, John Wick does a great job with it. Well, he's supposed to be a threat. How he has him, how he ending his character, and considering obviously we're not going to see Kang in other movies, obviously, it's just, yeah. Doctor Strange. The first one's actually a film I've always been so back and forth on how I feel about it, honestly. Like, I always back and forth in terms of my rating, honestly. And I still do enjoy the movie. It's definitely the definition of a movie that feels the most generic. Mostly because Doctor Strange feels like just a watered down Tony Stark. Spider-Man comes back playing like character incredible. I don't think he really stood out till I don't think he really stood out to any more in his appearances. But film was still pretty good. Most because it feels like the most visually unique of the MCU and it has some pretty awe-inspiring moments in terms of visuals. And that whole Doma come to bargain moment still hilarious and fun to watch. But yeah, it kind of feels like the most safe and generic MCU movie, especially in terms of humor. And most of the madness is from I've always found to be a little more better people credit for, honestly. Honestly, I think it's actually better than the first one, honestly. And while my opinion did one that a tad bit on this rewatch, it's a movie I can still come back to very often. I think they'll try this great arc here. I think with this color, which I think is actually fantastic. I don't see what the people have a problem with that, apparently. I don't know, that doesn't mean, but I thought one of the trade her was actually pretty compelling and interesting. I understand that went through the multiverse that was pretty interesting. It's not as like in your face as like wasn't No Way Home in the other movies, like kind of that. And they get some pretty badass and was more incredible visual, amazing moments. So yeah, in my opinion, a great underrated movie in the MCU. The Spider-Man Homecoming trilogy. My pretty great trilogy actually. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not the one that really got the hate for this trilogy. I never got the hate for the Spider-Man character. Like it's definitely not the best portrayal, honestly, but at least until No Way Home. But I always enjoyed Homecoming far from honestly. I think the trilogy, I think it gets better as it goes along. Honestly, I think Homecoming is still a great movie, basically a John Hughes movie in the MCU setting. And how they treat Tom Holland here is actually pretty well, actually, and its castmates and everything. That works pretty well, actually. Far From Home definitely has its cringy moments and some questionable aspects, but it's made up for a fact of the great characters, the great moments, and of course Jake Gyllenhaal being great in Mysterio, but also Mike Keaton be great as Vulture in Homecoming. And No Way Home still being on top tier MCU, despite the fact that people really gone down on the movies since it came out. I still love No Way Home. So yeah, not much I can really say about the movies, but I've been pretty good Spider-Man movies and deliver what you expect, honestly. With No Way Home probably be my favorite of the trilogy, be my top 3 favorite MCU movies. Actually, I am dead serious. Black Panther. The first Black Panther is one I actually still really enjoy, honestly. Like there are definitely a few issues that do hold it back, mostly because the fact that it's not the most unique movie in the world. The humor is kind of cringy at times, and they're not gonna be a bit too CGI heavy, but you still get an incredible world in Wakanda here. John Boseman did a great performance, and Michael B. Jordan is one of the best villains in the entire MCU. Then we have Wakanda Forever, which, while it wasn't mean I wasn't actually playing because, the unfortunate passing of John Boseman, they still managed to do a great job of delivering this greatness. Like the first movie, like the first 5 minutes alone, had me tearing up. Well, yeah, the movie got to be a bit too long at times. I will not deny that. You used to get some incredible performance here, some incredibly badass moments, and it will actually be one of the better MCU films that we have gotten in a while. So, yeah, so overall, great work. And one of the most emotionally mature movies in the entire MCU. The two Captain Marvel movies are some of the most fine and movies in the MCU, honestly. Yeah, the original Captain Marvel is one that I never enjoyed much when it came out. I think it was a little more higher than I used to, but the more I thought about it, the more like, it's fine, but don't so much come back to often. And then the Marvels, which is like just a movie that feels like a movie that feels like a movie that feels like a finale, basically like a finale to a show that we basically never got to see, considering all the events that happened in this show. Be like, man, I wish you could have seen that. Basically, it was like a done movie in a trilogy, which you think it's the second movie. And I'm sure some of them will say, oh, you just don't like women superheroes. Like, cause I when the Marvels came out and it bombed, people were like, oh, proves that people don't like female superheroes. People are sexist. They're just not good movies. Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, I'm just gonna go with both of them here because these are some of my favorite MCU movies. Like Infinity War was a huge event movie at the time that I remember being like so awed when I saw it in the theaters, and I'm still awed by it to this day because it is an incredible set piece of a movie with incredible moments, incredible action set pieces, some of the most emotionally devastating moments in the entire MCU, some of the best action set pieces, incredible build up, incredible use of all the characters here, and making Thanos probably the best villain in the MCU. I don't think any villain's ever going to top Thanos. And Endgame, yeah, Endgame is still my favorite MCU movie, and it's honestly, it's actually in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. I am dead serious. It's actually being thought as my favorite. It's actually my favorite superhero movie of all time. I am dead fucking serious. The final battle, just yeah. Black Widow is definitely a weird movie in the MCU again. The best way to always describe Black Widow is that it obviously feels like it's a movie that shouldn't come out like in phase 1 or 2 of the MCU. And it kind of shows, honestly, but I honestly enjoy the movie probably more than most people. Even though it does have its issues, it's definitely on the weaker end when it comes to MCU movies. But it's not fun with it. I think it does have some great performances. I think the casting brought here was great, and Florence Pugh did a great job as Elena, and I can't wait to see what they do with her. And a lot of these characters in Thunderbolts, they do it in the weird direction where Black Widow's as a character in general. It's like, she had this family, and she like never mentioned it, and never bothered to even acknowledge that. And maybe the action could be a bit too over the top, and the villain is probably the most disappointing villain in all MCU, but as a whole, still a fun movie. Shang-Chi is one that, while it does kind of follow a lot of the MCU format, it does have some redirections. It's a movie that honestly I enjoyed the more I watch it. And I mean, yeah, fantastic extra set pieces. You got a really great group of characters. As I enjoyed in this movie, you get one of the most compelling villains in any MCU movie. What they do in the Mandarin here is just fantastic. Fantastic. And again, the action set pieces are great. The lore is incredibly investing and engaging. And again, also, and it doesn't get a little too much into the MCU humor and the MCU tie-ins. I do think it's still pretty funny while still having like very exhilarating moments and a great family dynamic and some really compelling elements in general. So as a whole, Shang-Chi is a success in my opinion. Eternals is probably the most conflicting MCU movie out there. And while I can say I'm never more on the positive side of this movie, it's definitely on the weaker MCU movies. It is definitely the most ambitious MCU movie. But like a lot of people, I feel like this, of all the things that could have made into TV shows, I feel like this could have been a perfect miniseries, a perfect show to talk about these characters and explore their backstories and then make it into a movie. I think honestly, it wasn't perfect actually, honestly, because we don't get to know much of these characters and all that stuff. They pretty much spend like 1,000 years or millions of years of content into like a 2.5 hour movie. And while I get the ambition, you get great performances, you get great action set pieces, some great characters. It's one of the games where I feel like the emotions really were hit more if we got to know a lot of these characters more, or we got to dive a little more deep into like who they are and their interactions and who they were previously. It's one of those definitely untapped potential type movies that, if they were explored more, this definitely could have been one of the great MCU movies. Which kind of makes it even more disappointing if you really think about it. Again, I'm definitely more towards the positive of this movie. I think there's a lot of enjoyment, a lot of great factors. I mentioned it's also the best looking MCU movie. I mean, it's from Chloe Zhao, so of course it is, but I'm definitely still positive in the movie, but it's definitely in more than the disappointment factor because it could have been one of the greats, and it didn't end up being, unfortunately. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, it's still, in my opinion, one of the best MCU movies. It's definitely like it's weird because it's not like nostalgia fest kind of movie, but honestly, despite the fact nostalgia is kind of like a cheap tool nowadays, and I can like that. When it's done right, it can make for some pretty hilarious and charming stuff, and Deadpool was no exception. No, like it was actually one of my favorite movies of last year. It's in my top 3 actually. It's like the most funniest movie I saw last year. Last year, it's like usually MCU ends up being pretty high in my rankings, honestly. It's probably that the MCU is kind of downhill, even I can deny that. But yeah, hilarious chemistry, great content, great use of the character. Definitely they stick with the R rating and all that stuff, and you get some of the most fun action in any Deadpool movie and some of the most hilarious sequences ever. Like generally, this might be my favorite Deadpool movie. I wasn't expecting that, but here we are. Yeah, hope you all had a great Valentine's Day. I figure I'm resting into break. I figure I get my thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World, which of course is the latest Captain America movie and the latest MCU movie. It's really one of those I really didn't know what to expect going into it. Like I knew I wasn't going to get a shit turd or supposed to get like a great one or a surprising one. And I'll round up more on the mixed side, honestly. I'd say I'm a little towards more the positive side, honestly, of the mixed one. Like, I'd say mixed positive, honestly. Because I still have fun time in the movie. I still enjoyed some elements of the story. I still enjoyed Anthony Mackie as Falcon and there were some fun moments, some fun action set pieces, some fun humorous moments. It's really just it's really the storytelling, the script, and of course the clear of the reshoots that pretty much ended my main issues because I wasn't as invested and compelled as I should have be. Also, I think the film was a massive disappointment as well. That didn't help matters either. And probably Red Hawk being a prominent trailer season, I just don't talk like too much of him. It seems probably the best part of the movie. Like, there was something fun to be had, in my opinion, in this Captain America movie, but But it's definitely on the weaker end MCU movies, and it's definitely by a landslide the weakest Captain America movie. Not bad by any means, but again, in terms of MCU and in terms of Marvel products, it's definitely not one of the worst, that's for sure, but it's definitely on the weak end still. Oh boy.